a good question. I mean, clearly we got some issues on defense, so maybe that like people are playing really comfortable against us, and that's not really our style of play. Usually our defensive minded team, so we got to go back, look at video, and see how we can adjust.
Just kind of what did you think about the ball movement in general? You had fewer assists than you guys
Yeah.
usually do. Kind of what did Dallas really do to stifle that?
I don't know. I guess just kind of our flow and attacking. I don't feel like we kind of attacked them enough as far as guards. But I don't know. I guess that's when I go back and watch video. I think I'll see it a little bit more. But just being more aggressive. They really couldn't stop us going to the rim. But I feel like we settled a little bit.
This questions for Deanna.
Huh?
Clearly, the two 24s on each team perform the way we expect them to perform tonight. If you could just speak to how Enrique played tonight, I mean, I'm pretty sure you're not shocked.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
wow. Seeing that, if you could just speak about her game tonight, how she performed.
She's a bucket. She hit some tough ones on us too. She hit some timely shots. That's what she do night in and night out. If you let her get free, it's going up. And I feel like if you let her get going and she see one go through the basket, then that's for the rest of the night. And it's kind of hard to stop them, but she definitely played aggressive. She definitely had our guards a little bit off balance, and she knocked down some timely shots, especially that one I think in the third quarter when she hit it at the buzzer. That was a big shot, and we was on the run, so that kind of stopped our momentum right there.
Follow-up question, especially for both of you two. In the paint, it looked like with Kalani and Tierra, they were kind of getting in the middle of the physical.
Yeah.
That's not a shot at you, but how much do you guys miss Brianna? How much do you guys miss her?
What
Especially with the
14?
game
Yeah, of course. That's our force in the paint, and I mean we're pretty small down there, especially with rebounding. But we got to have others step up. We got bigs on our bench too. We got Olivia, who obviously got to step up and do better for us because guarding them for 40 minutes is tough, you know. Like especially two big bodies coming at you all night. That kind of wears on you a little bit, but. I don't think we did a terrible job. They hit some timely buckets down the stretch, but I think we did a better job than we did in Dallas. But we definitely got to some kind of way get Liv to step up a little bit more, especially with the absence of Bree Jones.
You guys only have a few weeks left of the regular season. Those issues that you mentioned on defense, do you think are fixable, and what needs to happen to fix those issues?
They're 100% fixable. Anything's fixable, but it comes down to committing yourself to it. I think we talk about the same things over and over again when we lose, and yeah, it can't keep happening. Like you said, the regular season is coming to an end, and you should be playing your best basketball. And right now, it's unacceptable how we're playing defensively, and it shows when we're not playing well defensively. Then it trickles over to our offense. So yeah, we got a lot of things we need to clean up.
Disappointed for our team. You know, it's tough when we had multiple opportunities. I felt like to get defensive stops and get going in transition. You know, 21 points off of turnovers and 19 points off of offensive rebounds. That's really tough to come back from. You almost have to play perfect outside of that. We didn't shoot the ball particularly well from the three-point line. I thought early we settled. We did a better job of getting to the rim and get to the foul line in the second half. But you know, defensively, you know, it's tough for us to play their big girls inside. I didn't feel like we did a good enough job of rebounding the basketball. You know, oftentimes we got them to get the shots that we wanted, and we were just standing waiting for somebody else to go get the ball instead of going to get it. So I just didn't feel like our execution for the second, third, and fourth quarter was where it needs to be to win a game like this. I mean, Dallas is a good team. You know, they're continuing to get better, and every night we gotta be locked in and ready to go. And I thought we weren't consistent enough tonight.
Questions? Yeah. Coach, when you're playing a player like Enrique, just a pure scorer, I think the common thing is to
Yeah.
So how deflating is that when you play with the make it tough and it's still goes down?
Yeah, I think we have to maintain perspective. Like, oftentimes we were telling our team, like, hey, like, we gotta live with that. She made a lot of really tough, difficult shots. That's what she does, right? Like that's what she does. That's who she's been her entire career. And some of those, we have to live with and say, okay, we gotta move on to the next play. You can't let it deflate you. Great players do that. I think it's the easy ones, we had to be able to take away, whether she was open in transition or the easy drives to the rim where we were in incorrect coverage and pick and roll, and then we weren't in our rotations to help on the drives. It's hard to guard her one-on-one. I mean, that is just, I'm not sure that there's one player in the league who can guard her one-on-one. So collectively, we have to be a little bit better. But it's also tough because they have players who surrounding her that can make plays. I think Crystal Dangerfield has been really good against us every time we've played, and she's been a difference maker. I felt like we had some opportunities tonight to extend leads or to chip away, and we just weren't able to do that.
Steph, obviously you've had some height mismatches with DB and AT, like
Yeah.
going up against, Griner and McCowan and whoever. How do you, with Betty coming back, will that, like, she played pretty well against Phoenix, like, will that help? Or, like, how does that not deflate you, like, playing against people like that without somebody to kind of...
It's tough. I mean, it's a 6 of one, half dozen the other. We've debated going to a bigger lineup, and there are times where I feel like we could, but then we take away some of what we can do really well on the offensive end of the floor. The thing is, we've got to have everyone consistently night in and night out. We've got to have our perimeter players have to knock down shots or get to the rim or get to the foul line. Our perimeter players have to rebound. Our post players have to battle night in and post players I use it loosely, right? Like, we're playing out of position. And it's admirable what AT and DB are doing, playing, out of position and guarding. But we almost put ourselves in positions where we've got to be perfect on offense, and our offense isn't great right now. The ball's sticking, our players aren't moving. I think you saw in the first quarter, we had some of the movement and some of the on-off ball movement, and it looked really good. And then as the game wore on, we didn't. And that's probably on us as coaches, just because it's really difficult for us to sub. And we got to find a way to sub so that we can keep people fresh. And we got to find a way to help our team in those moments where we have those lulls. That's on us. We got to find that. Dallas is a tough team. They certainly deserve to win this ball game, and they're a tough matchup for anybody. But we got to bounce back from this, and we got to go on the road, and we got to get one in Chicago.
You mentioned consistency, and so did AT, and issues with trying to fix that. How do you address consistency moving forward in the next few weeks?
We talked to our team about it. I mean, look, we don't necessarily have to point it out. I mean, players know when they're not doing what they do best. When they're not doing what we need them to do. So now it's just about getting into the gym. It's about finding, whatever it is mentally that helps you get through. I don't want to call them slumps, because sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's matchups. Sometimes it's other things. And then as coaches, we have to find a way to get them a little bit more involved. I think it's really easy for us, and we do this sometimes to a detriment. It's really easy for us to focus on getting DB and AT touches because they're productive for us. And we've probably got to do a better job of getting more opportunities for Tip to get downhill, and for Beck to get shots, and for T to get some, openings in transition. We've got to not get quite so tunnel vision to try to open up everybody else and get them going as well.
I think the team had like 6 points to end in the last 6 minutes of the first half, and then 8 points in the last 9 minutes of this fourth quarter. In both those situations, was that kind of more so offense or defense, or can you talk about a little bit about that and just what was going on?
I'd have to go back and look. I know there were some situations, I think in the second quarter, where we had opportunities to push in transition and we turned it over. you know, 2 or 3 times in a row, and you can't do that against teams in this league. You know, they'll just capitalize and they'll make you pay for that. I think the other thing is we get stagnant. You know, we get stagnant. You know, our off-ball movement's going to be critical for us. You know, we sometimes get a little on-ball heavy where it's just we wait for AT to come set an on-ball screen for us. Well, you know, that's easy to guard. You know, it's easy to guard when we're walking into things. We've got to maintain movement from all 5 positions to keep teams on their toes and to force them in rotation. So I'd have to go back and watch the film in that. But I do know that, you know, we settled early for a lot of threes. We weren't shooting the ball particularly well. Much better when we started attacking and getting downhill and getting to the foul line. And then once we do and we force a collapse, our decision-making has to be great.
The three-point shooting tonight was 3 for 14, just tonight and then over the last couple weeks. Have you been happy with just like the volume of three-point shots that the team has been taking and then just the quality of the shots that they are actually taking behind the perimeter?
No, I mean, you know, I like the threes where, you know, we make the extra pass and we get an open 3, or we're driving into the lane and we force a collapse and we're spraying out for the 3. You know, I'm not a big fan of taking a quick 3 when, you know, on one side of offense when we haven't forced the defense to work. Now look, I'm not gonna have our team turn down wide open shots. But when we've gone, you know, 2, 3, 4 possessions and we've just been chucking threes and haven't gotten anything to fall, then we got to find a way to get the ball to the backside, or then we've got to get 2 feet in the paint, whether it's a drive or a post entry pass, and spray out, and that's the 3 that we want to get. So my preference would be for backside of the floor, second or third side of the floor, or extra passes, you know, when we get certain defensive rotations on nights that we're not shooting it really well.
Last question, Deja.
When you look at the stats, Thomas has played a lot of minutes. The team just came back from a very well-tested road trip. How much does, even though they'll never be minute, how much does fatigue play a part?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, especially the kind of minutes that AT plays. You know, it's not just that she's playing 38, 39 minutes. You know, I think she never wants to come off the floor anyway. But it's the kind of minutes. I mean, the level of physicality with which she plays, and opponents play with her. I mean, you know, every time I'm complaining to an official and they talk about how difficult she is to officiate, and I get it, because she plays physical, but she gets the brunt of it too. And so, you know, I think the level of physicality wears on you too. You know, I don't know, because I think AT is still pretty efficient with what she does, and you know, if her efficiency starts to go down, or you start to see some fatigue in her decision making, I think those are the moments, you know, that maybe. But AT is one of those unique players that's it's mind over matter. Right, like she can will herself to do things that other people just can't, and playing a lot of minutes and doing it efficiently is one of them. So you know, that's a blessing and a curse sometimes. And you know, I keep saying that we got to find ways to get a rest. And right now it's just outside of game time.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah. Thank you.